episode of Progress, Potential, and Possibilities, discussions with fascinating people designing a better tomorrow for all of us. I'm your host, Ira Pastor.
Welcome, everybody, again to another episode of the show, bringing you another fascinating guest, helping to create a better tomorrow. As a little background to today's show, I want to start off with some really interesting numbers. Currently, the global beauty industry represents, in 2020, these are numbers, about $500 billion annually. And based on its projected growth rate, by 2025 is estimated to represent around $700 billion market. And makeup currently today is around $100 billion of that. Millions of women around the world rely on makeup, beauty tutorials for makeup ideas and different tips. Ultimately, in many cases, finding it challenging to recreate some of the more professional looks. They have instructions that made for faces that don't look like theirs. They don't always get the right makeup combinations and so forth. And this ultimately can impact how one looks, but also someone's confidence. And today we have the honor of being joined by Jennifer Christenson, who is the founder and chief executive officer of a company called FaceTrace, which is a really innovative company. They have a novel mobile app that uses proprietary technology such as augmented reality to ultimately guide women and beauty lovers in properly applying cosmetics without having to visit an in-store beauty counter, hire a professional makeup artist, or ultimately attempt to follow some of these complex online makeup tutorials. Jennifer is also the co-founder and CEO of JMP Global, works in the area of digital media, social networking, and event creation and management. Jennifer has her undergraduate degree from University of Michigan in psychology. She was a producer, host of several Chicago area television shows. She's a Miss Illinois USA first runner-up, as well as a Humanitarian Award recipient, as well as an accomplished author. You get her book Real by Jennifer Christenson. A lot of things to discuss today, but Jennifer Christenson, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm impressed with the rundown, Ira. You touched all the important parts, especially the stats on how women are feeling about themselves around the world and how big the market is. And there's a great opportunity that we have to reach so many women and create impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, because I stole a lot of it from you. So
I recognized it and I liked it. No wonder.
Anyway, Jennifer, I'd like to start things off as we typically do on the show, just by handing you the floor for a little bit. Obviously, I've read through your bio. You've done quite a bit over the years, but talk a little bit for a few minutes about yourself, everything from where you grew up, how you got interested in studying psychology originally, and a little bit of your career path to date. I think that'd be a really interesting story to start us off with.
Sure. So I grew up in Chicago. I'm actually a first-generation American. My mom is from Italy. And I always went to magnet schools. I was on a track to become a doctor, actually. So when I went to the University of Michigan as a freshman in college, I was prepared to neurosurgeon. That was what I wanted to be. And I was volunteering in hospitals and working in doctor's offices. And at the time, I remember in my second year of school, I just felt really restricted and I wanted an even larger platform to reach more people. So I decided I wanted to be more involved in communities, have a way to use my voice on a greater scale. And I decided to go into the media. So at the time I finished all of my pre-med requirements and I tagged on an internship with Fox News in Detroit. And I eventually started reporting and then I went into television. I graduated a year early from U of M in 3 years. And I started hosting and reporting and producing my own news programs. Eventually, I started a PR company and we focused on public relations and social media for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And then I was deeply involved in charity at the time and doing a lot of philanthropy. And a friend of mine reached out to me and she said, Jen, you're so involved in the community. I signed you up for Miss Illinois. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Beauty's not my thing. I was really into science. And I think beauty as a young woman also made me uncomfortable. There's a lot of pressure on young women and it was not something I was comfortable with. So anyways, she filled in this paperwork for me and they gave me a call back and they said, Jennifer, we'd like to offer you this opportunity. And I said, thanks, but no, thank you. This isn't for me. And they said, listen, you're 26 years old and you're going to age out. Well, that was the first time as a young woman that someone said to me, honey, you're getting too old. And I didn't like that, Ira, at all. So I said, I'm going to do it. So I worked my butt off, and who in the world would know how much work it takes to learn how to walk again and dance and do all these things. But I was boxing and I was training and I was eating super clean. And anyways, I was the oldest girl there, the shortest girl there, all the strikes against me. I ended up being first runner-up, and I ended up winning the Humanitarian Award. And I remember standing up on that stage, and it didn't matter how anyone was seeing me. It didn't matter what I looked like or what they thought I looked like, for better or worse. It was about how proud I felt inside for learning something new and what I accomplished. And that became the definition of beauty to me. And that lesson stuck with me. Eventually, I became a mother. And I dedicated my time to my son and raising him before he went to school full time. And that was the time that I learned this statistic that only 4% of women in the world find themselves to be beautiful. And as a new mom, I could totally relate to that, because what I recognize in all women, no matter, your ethnicity, your age, whatever it is, we sacrifice and compromise self-care first as we're juggling so many roles. We tend to be caretakers. And I had lost so much of myself because I was backseat. I don't even know if I was in a seat anymore, right? So I wanted to find a solution that empowered confidence in women. And I thought that a great way to do that would be with technology. So that's how I decided to, go into the beauty tech space. And I started doing some research. What could I do to help women feel better about themselves? And research will show that makeup does that for women. There are studies that show that wearing lipstick even gives you such a boost of confidence that your self-esteem improves, your mood, your overall well-being, and even your cognitive abilities and your academic performance improves. So this is a simple solution that we can use to tell women, here, you can use this not because you need it, but because we know you like it. 5 minutes of self-care to be creative. Do it at your own pace for your own lifestyle. As a mom, I was, never wearing makeup, right? And in my normal everyday life, I don't have the time to do all those things, but learning small things that I can do to just give me a little boost in 5 minutes, or a natural look, something that is customized for me and my features. And then I recognized, on top of that, my son is biracial, and really starting to just be fully immersed in understanding the differences in people and how important it is, especially for women, when our appearance is such a thing that makes us feel so fragile and we're constantly in positions of changing and having to compare ourselves. I really believe women deserve a customized experience that says, you belong, we see you, you're important, you're valued, you're worth it. You don't have to compare yourself to another woman or another standard. And so creating a tool that helped women to have a customized experience for their skin tone, their eye shape, their lifestyle was really important. So that's when I developed FaceTrace, which is a mobile app that helps you to apply cosmetics for your unique features at your convenience anytime. You don't have to visit an in-store makeup artist. You don't have to hire a professional makeup artist. You can learn, try something creative, and have fun. And so that's how we landed here today.
Awesome. Yeah, it's very interesting, especially as you're mentioning, that quickness too, because we have different guests. We do a lot on the show with regard to things like aging, and we hear about all this research that's going on about how we can turn the clock back eventually biologically and so forth. But at the end of the day, here's a tool, $100 billion tool that is, in a couple minutes, boom, you not only can look younger but also feel younger, and you're talking about sort of not just the confidence, but even the mental boost and so forth. It's funny, before I came on the show with you, I actually went to the dictionary, and I looked up beauty, and it has it's kind of boring definition. The number one definition in the dictionary is a combination of qualities such as shape, color, form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. I'm like, that's a pretty boring definition of beauty. But coming back to what you were talking about, I'll say my wife, she's beautiful. I'll say, hey, you're beautiful, and she'll giggle and blush and everything. But why is it? What did you learn from that one study? And I've seen it posted on the website. What is with only the 4%? I know your tagline of the company is "Beauty is you, no comparison," and we're not making these comparisons. But what else is it about that? Why is that 96% Is it social media? Is it standards? What's going on that 96% of the women in the world don't think they're beautiful?
Well, a lot is going on. And so we'll start with the interplay of social media. So right now, what's on the market and what we tell women is to do exactly what she does, even if she doesn't look like you. That's what advertising tells you, right? This is what beauty looks like. These are the products you should buy. And then you look like her. Well, if I'm not designed that way, that's never attainable, right? And then we bring in filters and photo editing, which is what all the other apps on the market focus on. So now we're telling you, you're not good enough. And if you do this, you can get all of these likes. And so now you have these brain addictions and this manipulation that if you're not editing these photos, you're not going to be liked. And then people are editing the photos to feel confident behind screen. But what happens in real life? Where is the solution to learn how to enhance or feel great about what you have and embrace exactly who you are? So that's what FaceTrace does. It helps you to be confident in real life walking down the street. And the purpose of that is for your health, your happiness, and your overall success. When you're feeling more confident, you're going to go for it. You're going to start that company. You're going to make that friend. You're going to do whatever it takes to help you get to the next level in life where you deserve to be. And, on top of that, so we're talking about the interplay of social media, the interplay of advertising, but competition. Because of those things, women are constantly forced to compare themselves. They're constantly bombarded with images of comparison, and it's tough. And then there's pressure on us as we age. We're constantly changing. So before you can get comfortable in your skin, oh my God, you have a whole new face again. I know that, we're all guilty of it. I look in the mirror sometimes, I'm like, oh my God, it was so much better last year. And then you have to buckle down and you say, no, wait a minute, I'm okay. And I'm okay by virtue of I'm going to find my power and confidence through what I've been through and what I've overcome. And so I want women to first start feeling comfortable in their skin. And once you feel comfortable in your skin, really start to connect to your story and your journey, because we all have one. So our tagline is, beauty is you, no comparison, because the truth is your story does not compare to anyone else. And when you find your power from that in your journey, you start to realize that beauty is a feeling, right? And it is a perception. There's a reason that you couldn't find a solid definition. It's a perception, and it starts with how you feel inside.
Got it. So, Jennifer, when I went to the FaceTrace, I think it was the YouTubes. I was watching some of your videos, and you've put together a team of folks that really understands sort of the cross-cultural applications and so forth of makeup. Obviously, you've had people that had to design the app and then augmented reality. Talk a little bit about what it was like just putting this together. What you had to put the team together. Obviously, the right technologies and so forth. Talk a little bit about that time in creating the app.
So what was it like to assemble the team? Not easy. I'm a person that I know exactly what I want. And when I want it that way, I want it to be that way. And if it's not going to be that way, I want it to be better. So you have to come to the table knowing more than me and have greater visions than me, if possible. And I love creativity and I love innovation. So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for an expert in mixed media and augmented reality that also had the excitement and the passion and the dedication to innovating something new. And so I probably interviewed tech teams from the top to the bottom of the globe. Before I settled on one, I was hiring independent contractors really on Upwork to build small tech samples to prepare what's called wireframes, which we call them Figma files, if you're familiar, of a presentation of what the app looks like. So a clickable model that you can watch in presentation form would be the best way to describe that. Once I had that prepared, then I finally had narrowed down my teams that I thought would be the best fit. And I arrived on a great team, and they've been doing an awesome job. And, sometimes there's delays in tech because you are learning things new, especially as you're innovating. So we've had some of those, especially during a pandemic. That hasn't been easy. There was a period of time where the whole team got COVID. And so we were set back for a little bit. But, everyone is doing great, and I really appreciate their dedication. They're learning alongside with me. So it's great to see how they're learning to, a bunch of men as well are learning to apply makeup and doing an awesome job helping to prepare an app. I have some amazing women on my team too that we're working to really just build a helpful solution for women.
And, yeah, and here comes the sorry, the stupid guy question here, but in going through the app and the various, I mean, you have a wide range of possibilities here. There is obviously a look that you go for business. There's the date night look, various glam applications. Talk a little bit about, once again, sorry if this is a childish question, but talk about sort of the spectrum of possibilities here, because obviously there are many different looks, different situations that one might find themselves in, putting on different styles of makeup. But I just wanted to give the audience a broad breadth of not just sort of the wide range of cultures that the technology can be used for, but all these different situations that
lifestyle and occasions. So studies show that girls as young as 13 and really younger, up to women in their late 60s, are watching these YouTube makeup tutorials in particular. Okay. So it's not right to tell a young girl, I don't believe, to put the pressure on a young girl to say, do this to look like this teenager, or this girl in her 20s, or this girl in her, who is a particular celebrity. And it's also not fair to do that to a woman in her 30s, 40s, 50s, to tell them to look like a 20-year-old or a teenager. So I wanted to break this down into lifestyle for two reasons. One, because we don't believe in comparison. Two, we want you to really embrace who you are, and we want this to be a convenient solution for what works within your life. So you'll see things like 5-minute makeup, natural, every day, Zoom call, business professional, day to night. We're constantly juggling roles. You'll see something for mom life. You'll see something for glam. You'll find something for everyone. And our goal was for you to be able to allow us to offer looks to you that could work for you. You can try them on with augmented reality, make your decision of what you like, customize them. But we also give you the solution to create your own. So I never want to be accountable for telling you what you should do or how I think you should look. I want you to have the freedom to autonomously learn a skill set, freely create, have fun, do it at your convenience, and see what you come up with and see how you like it. And so I provide both solutions in there.
And aside from the cross-cultural applications, you talk about that there's a broad range of possibilities for different ages, and I'd love to So my daughter, and she's gonna get mad at me for saying this, so she's 15 and she's doing the smoky eyes thing to school. I don't know if I should feel good or bad about that, but whatever. As my wife has her whole process, and then my mother, who passed away recently, in her early, almost 90 years old, even in the hospital, she's like, bring me my lipstick, bring me my rouge. I want to look bad in front of the doctor. Talk a little bit about aging and sort of how things transition, sort of as one gets older. Obviously, my mother wanted her makeup, and so she made her look good and so forth, made her feel good. But as time goes on, and as we get into sort of the later years, how does makeup change? How does some of the dynamics that you look at using the technology, and some of them might be 75 versus my 15-year-old daughter, change, and how the app addresses that?
Well, first, I'm very sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you.
But to answer the question directly, how does that change with age? Your skin changes. Yeah. That's the truth. Sure. Your eyes change. The skin hangs a little lower. So, you might want to choose different colors, like maybe not a metallic is not going to look the best if your skin is dry, or if your skin is a little wrinkling. However, that being said, age is a number. And the truth is, you have to just do what makes you feel good. And if you're looking at a younger girl, such as your daughter's age, the other thing is that we don't want to put pressure on young girls to use makeup to feel that they need to measure up, or to believe that they need it. And so that's really important. So showing them that, hey, you've got this great baby skin here. Let's take care of it and do what's healthy. You only need to just use a little of this cream, and, look how fabulous you are. Don't you feel great? And showing them that they can be empowered to, do a little something because they like these products, showing them how beautiful that they can be as themselves. And so that is the importance. But what's really important with girls your daughter's age is that they're so impacted by social media. Yep. And there is a stat out there. There's something called Snapchat dysmorphia. And what's happening is girls are taking their own filtered photos into the plastic surgeon's office. And the stat has gone up 500% in the number of girls and women who've gone into a plastic surgeon's office and said, make me look like this. And not only that, but girls in the age range of 13 to 19, the suicide rate has climbed astronomically.
Yep.
And it's very serious. This is a very important issue. I know when we're talking about beauty, there's this association with vanity or something superficial, but this is the opposite of that. This is a real mission for empowering confidence and self-love and self-care in girls and women, because when you have those things, when you set the definition of yourself and your own beauty, you own your power. And it's much easier to roll with the changes in life and the definitions that society will try to impose upon you, because they will. They will tell you what beauty looks like. They will tell you who they think you are. They will take their perception of you, which has nothing to do with the true definition of who you are, if you don't know that answer first. So we want women to feel confident to do that. And that's what this is about for me and for my company.
And, you have the app going. I mean, we talked about a lot of the different possibilities and so forth in the current menu. Are there other? I should make sure I didn't miss anything. Are there other applications that you want to mention, or is FaceTrace planning? And if it's confidential, you don't have to go into it. Are you planning potentially FaceTrace extension? Lines of your own cosmetics at some point, skincare products or whatever. Anything that you can talk about on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are beta testing right now, so it's exciting. We're just we have an exclusive group of testers that are giving us some great feedback, and so we're polishing some things up in the process as well. And come what may, you make the best decisions possible, but I am an entrepreneur and I'm always thinking of new ideas. I would love to have my own lines and beauty tools one day. I'd love to do that simultaneously. That takes capital, and we are a startup right now. So as we get there, yeah, I'll definitely go into the creation of lines. And it's actually something I'm looking into right now.
Excellent. One other quick question, because you mentioned men before, that you had some men on staff that were testing things out. Is men's makeup, is that something that we just don't know about? Is it happening? Is it a potential market? I just, obviously, I never used makeup, but is there a niche there as well?
Yeah, sure. There is. There are lines of men's makeup, especially men who are on television, that they might want to blot a little shine or brighten some cheeks. But yes, it definitely exists. Skincare is a big thing.
Sure.
Skincare is important for everyone, and it's a part of your health. It's something that I could explore down the line as well. I would love to do that. There's men who, when I have men use my app, it's really been an opportunity for me to give it to somebody who doesn't have the natural skill set or is not so familiar, and see how well they can learn with FaceTrace, coming in not knowing anything at all. So it's a great testing opportunity for me. So that's what I've been doing there. But, to be honest, one of the greatest testers that I have is my 7-year-old son. And if he can understand it, and he's funny, he'll come in and he'll say, "Mommy, I'm going to be you today. I'm Jennifer Christenson, and I'm the founder of FaceTrace, and FaceTrace is a mobile application." And he just gives the whole spiel, and I'm like, that makes sense. Okay.
Right up early.
So, if I can see that it can hold the interest of a young child who can understand the directions, we want to make this easy, simple, and fun. That's my whole goal. So, FaceTrace can be fun.
Absolutely. And I lied before, actually. I did. Back in the day before this started going out, it's coming in gray again, but before this started coming in dark, I used to steal my mom's mascara when I was 12 and try to make a real mustache. But aside from that, that's a different story. Jennifer, going slightly to, although this connects to the story, but it was from several years ago. You wrote this book, Real by Jennifer Christenson, and honestly, I was sort of taking a look, and it's sort of you sort of predicted things a decade in advance, and you were talking about sort of this theme: you're more than a face on Facebook, and our posts are not meaningless. It's sort of like a premonition to what's happening nowadays. But can you just say a few words about what you were thinking back then when you were writing this? Did you see sort of the trends in social media that were bothering you then, and why you wrote the book. I think it was in 2011 when you published it.
Yeah, God, I love that you said that. Thank you so much. Going back to that time, it's been 10 years ago now, but I was an early user of Facebook.
Okay.
And it was at the time where I took this leap of faith from medicine into going into the media. And Facebook was really a catalyst that helped me to make that decision. So I was a freshman in college, and the way Facebook was being utilized was sort of like this yearbook to keep in touch with your friends from high school, or to find other friends on campus, and you can arrange study groups and things like that. And so it was very focused, a small group of students. Not all universities even had it at the time. And as more people around the world started to join, I didn't even have a photo, and I had 5,000 friends very, very quickly. And it was born from me posting updates about current events, of things that were very authentic, inspirational stories, things that were motivational. And I saw the ways in which that people around the world were gravitating toward that. And I quickly grew this network of tens of thousands of people that were sharing their life stories with me. And it really was a testament to showing how interconnected we are around the world. And it doesn't matter really what walk of life you've come from. There are ways in which we can relate if we're acknowledging that we have differences, but we then take the next step to find our commonalities. And so having people reach out to me telling me about, eating disorders, or their relationships, or their grievances, or whatever it is that they were going through. And then I was finding ways to create dialogue, which is very different than what we see on social media today. We've sort of developed this cancel culture and this block culture, and that comes into play with the way in which advertising works. With FaceTrace in particular, I'm very dedicated to the ways in which we are sending messages to people. So what happens on Facebook currently is that, you are most likely going to see people who agree with you, right? And once upon a time, it wasn't designed that way. It was everybody gives their own opinion, you like it or you don't. And I would sort of help to guide these discussions or facilitate these discussions so that people could have productive conversations where they're learning from each other. And it didn't matter if you agreed, it mattered if you were learning and if you were open-minded. But now you just block someone, and then you cancel someone, and then you get as many friends to see who else can agree with you. And that's very impactful to our politics, our mental health, our relationships. So it's taken a turn that is pretty disappointing. And I would love the opportunity to really get dialogue back into the platforms in a healthy and meaningful way, because I know it's possible because I've done it.
And an extremely timely topic. And it's, as I said, I wanted to bring that up because I was looking, I was like, wow, this is 10 years ago, and she predicted a lot of what we see now. But really exciting story, Jennifer. Did I miss anything specifically with FaceTrace that you wanted to touch on while I have you today? Please, if I did, let me know, and please take the floor.
I appreciate you having me. I always love and welcome the opportunity to just shine a light on the important causes of self-care and how it impacts young girls and women. I really, really am dedicated to trying to improve those numbers of young girls who are feeling, and women, young girls and women who are feeling anxiety and depression as a result of comparing themselves to other women. I just want women to feel seen, heard, and understood, to know that they are worthy, and to take their power back and to just own exactly who they are. So any opportunity that I get to talk about that, I really appreciate. And I welcome anyone, girl, woman, man, boy, whoever, who is interested in using FaceTrace. They can reach out to me. They can follow us on social media at FaceTrace Beauty on Instagram. They can find me on social media and give me their ideas and their concerns and what they'd like to see. And I'd love to hear them out.
Excellent. We will put all the social links in the bio to the show, link to the website, of course. Really, really great stuff, Jennifer. I wish you the best with all of this moving it forward. I love hearing about exciting, entrepreneurial projects like this. Obviously, it's a huge market, so it's going to be exciting to keep watching it as you progress with it. For everybody that's going to be listening to this particular episode on the podcast networks or watching on the YouTube channel, you've been listening to Jennifer Christenson, founder and chief executive officer of FaceTrace, working at the exciting intersection of technology, augmented reality, self-care, mental wellness. Also check out JMP Global, her other firm. Jennifer, it was great talking to you. I want to thank you, for taking time out of your schedule to do this. Thanks for everything you're doing there at FaceTrace. And as we say on this show, thank you for helping to create a better tomorrow through your initiative. It's a really, really exciting story.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I love your mission. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Ira.